January 14th, 2026 meeting. And we are an advisory council which supports the first district of Contra Costa County. So our group is appointed by the Board of Supervisors, and we provide input related to the civic affairs of the unincorporated area of El Sobrante to Supervisor Joya's office. So that's kind of who we are. And we have a very well-defined agenda for the meeting. And we'll start off with a roll call.
Tom Lang.
Present.
I'm here.
Tom Owens.
It's not here.
Dr. Melinda McLean.
Is excused.
Jim Herman.
Present.
Randy Lloyd.
Here.
Mickey Norris.
Here.
Terry Edlinger.
Here.
And Jed Hart.
Here.
Excused absence.
Oh, Jed Gibson.
He's on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's on Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay, there he is. All right. Hi, Jed.
Hey, how's it going, y'all?
All right. So treasurer's
Has everybody had a chance to look at the minutes from the last meeting? And I'd like to move that we approve subject to any changes suggested by the members.
I'll second that.
Okay, all four.
Well, let's just see. Anybody have any changes or any comments on the minute that you're missing? Right.
Proceed, sir. All right. Okay, so I move to approve last month's minutes.
I'll second that.
Okay, all four.
Aye.
Okay, looks like unanimous. So Ronnie George requested that we move the election for the SMAC chair and vice chair up to this this item. So just move that up at the end. How do we want to?
I nominate Tom Lane for chair.
Okay.
I second that.
Okay, it doesn't, okay, well, it's just, it doesn't be seconded. There's been a nomination, so I'm gonna do the chair because you're being nominated. So do you accept the nomination?
I accept.
Okay, is there any other nominations for chair of the MAC? Okay, hearing none, then by acclamation, you are the chair. So because nobody else wanted it.
That came out wrong, I'm sorry.
Not the man that did it, but nobody else raised their hand.
I'll be great just to say it was a hard fought campaign. Each other and work together.
Really went for his campaign work.
So, all right. So I would like to nominate George for vice chair. Are there any?
I accept the nomination.
Are there anybody who want to serve in that capacity? Okay, so
Look at me.
all right. So I move to that George be vice chair for 2026.
By acclaim.
By acclaim.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was easy.
Okay, so we are done with that. All right, so we'll move on to our next agenda item, update from Supervisor Joya's office.
Yeah, that's before we do that, Ronnie, Mr. Herman has made a request, and it's right, and it does need to be on the agenda and on the future agendas as a standing item. That is the Pledge of Allegiance. So would you want to lead us in that? Okay, so let's please keep rise, everyone. Flag over here. This one, want to lead us in the pledge. Go ahead. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
All right, so we'll go ahead and have the county chair.
Right here.
Right. Won't point at you or comment if you're anything.
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. Let's see. So, a few announcements here in regard to the county-wide noise ordinance. County staff have initiated preliminary internal discussions regarding potential updates to the county's noise regulations. An initial meeting was recently held, and by recent, I mean October last year, to identify key considerations that may inform future policy development. So formal drafting of proposed regulations is not expected to begin until these preliminary discussions are complete. Community input opportunities will be shared as the process advances and additional milestones are reached. And all of that fancy jargon means that they met once in October, and that's pretty much it.
So what's that mean now?
So they're having a few more discussions before it's being brought to the board, and so we're hoping that will be done if not by January, then by mid to late February at the latest. Yeah.
When can we expect the noise ordinance?
You said when?
Yeah, optimistically. I mean, something.
So we good.
So, Ronnie, what this means is that when it gets to the Board of Supervisors, they will vote on it, and that will be our noise ordinance.
Yes.
Okay. But doesn't have to go back for another round.
I would say by the end of the year, fingers crossed. At the very latest, but we're pushing to get that done as fast as possible. Again, it's not just specific to El Sobrante; it's county-wide, and so we have to make sure we get input from all of the unincorporated counties as well. So, yeah. I'm sorry. No, but if you want that information, I can reach out to Grant Farrington, who's the main point person within DCD. But we're just trying to make sure that all the voices are heard from all the unincorporated areas. So
It would be helpful to holdouts that haven't waited yet. I'd be a little surprised if it's going on since 2024.
yeah.
So
We seem to wander.
So do you have any advice for our community if they run into any problems lacking as countywide noise ordinance? What advice can you give people to do if they have a problem?
Hound the sheriff.
What?
Hound the sheriff.
County sheriff.
Hound the sheriff.
like call him constantly.
Yes. Yes.
Got chairs up in the front here if you're looking for a spot to sit.
I had understood from the sheriff was that they can't enforce them unless they have those noise meters on
Yeah.
it somewhere. And they don't want to hear those and they don't have it.
Enforcement is unfortunately the missing piece of the whole equation. And so with the updated noise ordinance, that's going to give the sheriff actual means to actually enforce the regulation. But without that, it's just kind of they show up, people turn the noise down, and then when they leave, things go back.
They have kind of moral authority.
Yeah. So, and just a quick update in regard to some of the events happening for MLK Day. The 48th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. commemoration is going to be on this Tuesday, January 20th, from 11 a.m. until when the party's over, in the board chambers in Martinez. And so this annual celebration honors Dr. King's legacy. And also within West County and District 1 specifically, there are a number of community partners who will also host MLK events. I know a number of them at North Richmond, up and down the Greenway. And so it's a really great way to get out in the community, meet some neighbors, and do some good in the community. So lastly, we have a good number of committees and commissions that are open. And so for anyone that is not a part of any type of board or commission, you can reach out to me directly. And I'll also have a link to the extensive list of all of our committees and boards that are available for District 1.
So I just have a point to make on that. I'm actually part of the advisory council on aging, which is one of the county citizens commissions, and it's charged with oversight or advice to the Contra Costa County Area Agency on Aging, part of the Public Health Department. And it's really fun. You get to meet people from all over the county and get a little sense of what all of our different communities are like. So if you have ever had the opportunity to serve on one of these boards, it's a nice thing to do every time.
Martin Luther King Day is Monday, but everything's happening on Tuesday.
No, so a good majority of the activities are gonna be, oh gosh, it's spread out. So it's Saturday, from what I'm hearing, is the earliest, up until
Oh.
Tuesday. But Tuesday is the big one with, and the county, board chambers and
Oh.
things.
Because the county, the holiday is a federal holiday, so the county office is closed.
Yeah.
So that's why.
But normally isn't there like a march or something with El Cerrito?
Yeah, the Martin Cerrito, Supervisor Dreyer is gonna be one of the speakers. I think he's also speaking, and a number of them in Richmond, so you can kind of choose,
Okay.
the one you'd like to attend.
There's also a protest. Anybody's into
Mhm.
it, 3:30 here at the corner. With Appian Way and
When is that?
San Pablo del Road. I'm Martin Luther King Day at 3:30.
I have a question. Wondered about following up on the smoke shop person, it's still open.
Yes, so they have had their permit to operate any type of tobacco products revoked. And so they can technically still open just as long as they aren't selling tobacco products. So they, tried to make an appeal and that was denied. And so they aren't supposed to be selling any tobacco products.
Sell everything else.
Yeah, so like merchandise, like I think they have clothes. The last time I drove by earlier today, they had a bunch of clothes that they're selling. And so it's a smoke shop that only sells smoking hot deals on jackets.
So, go ahead.
Sell other stuff.
Oh, same thing. The people cooking on the sidewalk.
Yes.
I saw them,
They moved from
yeah, to.
where the liquor store is just,
To Walgreens.
yeah, to Walgreens. And so the most recent update that I did get from County Health was last month before the holidays. They're working with County Council to see if they can get some type of legal firepower. But that's not that wasn't the right word to say. Legal backing to help get them off the street. And so I know that the last few times that they went out there, county health officials, they had to have the sheriff join them because things kind of.
Well, I'm thinking about it, I want to tell you, I did stop at JD Liquor, they did not have permission to be there. Sully was really happy that we were working on this to move them away
And
from
I
there.
guarantee you that Walgreens would.
Well, not only that, but it was only one person this time, it wasn't like a whole 4 or 5, 6, so.
Yeah.
But they were there late, Sunday night.
Yeah, so we're just waiting for county council to give us an update on how we can get some more behind that. Yeah. I think Mickey, did you have another?
Oh, no.
Oh.
Any further questions from the council for county update?
I have, but as a member of the public, so I'll go to the members.
So any questions from the public? Go ahead, please.
Why didn't their license?
Why did they lose their license? The smoke shop?
Yeah.
They were selling to underage youth, amongst other things. And so that was the biggest reason, selling cannabis, which they don't have a license to do. And so, yeah.
Can someone elaborate on the procedure for street vendors in the county? Is there a permitting thing? Because that taco stand seems to do really good business. It seems to be a popular thing.
Mm-hmm.
So are they out of compliance? Is there a
Yes.
process they should be doing and then they could do it? Or is there a blanket prohibition against doing that?
Yes and no. And so there is a process. Have they gone through it? No. And my latest update was that they're fined upwards. I think it's around $10,000 to $15,000. And so, there is a process, but a lot of the vendors within the unincorporated counties, they just don't want to go through the process. And so, in that regard, then they would be fined.
So the process also involves food safety and fire safety inspections and involves a charge to support carrying those out.
Yeah.
So
The businesses object to people vending on the street when they have to pay so many dues and stuff, that vendors aren't paying. And also what Congress said, it is a safety issue.
What kind of time commitment are you talking about when you say the commissions?
It depends, I think the majority of them are once a month for a number of hours, much like the county council here. And so it just varies, but it's usually not a heavy lift. So I would say monthly for a couple hours.
Depends on whether the particular commission has subcommittees.
Mhm.
And if you're a member of the subcommittee, so if you're a member of 2 subcommittees, it could be 3 hours a month or 6 hours a month. If you're just go to the main commission, it might be 2 hours a month, same week.
So I'm volunteering with Meals on Wheels here in Bucks County. And I do it Wednesdays and I did it today and got a letter from the people that are in charge of it. And it apparently appears that the Meals on Wheels chapter that runs in Central County is taking over and paid people that are, they might be being let go or they have to reapply for their jobs and there's an influx as to whether the people in West County are still gonna get their meals. And the person I was speaking with, they said that the supervisor was aware of this, but I just want to reinforce it, so we talked to him, brought it up because it's a little confusing to me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep doing this as at the end of this month. So, and I'm not sure if that's the case. I'm not sure who's going to do it because it is West County. There are your friends, some of your potential friends and neighbors here are recipients of the service, and it's a funding issue, and I don't quite understand the mechanics of it, but I'm very concerned about it because these folks don't have a great amount of income in the household. They are older, they have underlying health conditions, and that's why we deliver the meals because they are really not able to cook for themselves. So it's a problem. I have this letter. I'm going to give this to you because I just maybe show it to John. And I'm sure you know about it because the people that they were talking to, he's aware of it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring that up because in these times, we need to help people that need to help, but it's not helpful.
Are there any further questions from either the council or the audience regarding Ronnie's presentation? Okay, in that case, thank you, Ronnie.
Sheriff's not
We'll
here.
move on. Is anybody from the sheriff's office present, either online or?
No, we don't have anybody from CHP.
We do, as always, have Michelle Reinhardt from Fire Protection.
Hello,
Yeah.
Chair. Hello,
Yeah.
Chair Ling and board. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great. So I wanted to take this opportunity at the beginning of the year to highlight some items that have been covered throughout 2025 with some brief updates. First, last year, the district advanced its countywide wildfire mitigation efforts through a new partnership with Civicor. This is a Pittsburgh-based workforce development organization. The district has utilized Civicor and their hand crew and equipment to assist with community chipping events, reduce flammable vegetation along evacuation routes. One of the year's most impactful mitigation projects took place in Windy Flats, located in San Pablo. So our collaboration, not only with the city of San Pablo, but CORE and H3, of course, Sequoia Environmental Consulting, that led to kind of addressing that fuel reduction effort. The area has experienced multiple vegetation fires over the past year, prompting a coordinated mitigation effort. And again, with our partners that I've just listed, partners provided essential support services, including temporary housing for the unhoused individuals residing at that site. This is an update to the board and to the public that this work will continue into 2026, including the presence of a field biologist on site. Caltrans is also working to secure the site and take steps to prevent illegal dumping on the cleared site. Second is code adoptions. Fire prevention staff worked with other fire departments in the county to evaluate local amendments to the 2025 California Fire Code. It is currently in effect as of January 1st, 2026, and the new 2025 California Wildland Urban Interface Code effective January 9th of 2026. This was a coordinated effort to ensure the greater consistency and alignment among all of the area jurisdictions. As we know, fire knows no boundary. Fire does not recognize county or city boundaries. It doesn't say, "Oh, I ran up to the line, and I'm not going to go any further." So our staff worked with each city in our jurisdiction, and also, of course, we cover the unincorporated areas to support this adoption process as well. Next, the ISO classification improvement. So the district completed the Insurance Services Office, or ISO, Public Protection Classification rating, and this review is conducted every 10 years. We improved our ISO rating to a class of 2 and 2Y for the entire Fire District. This is an improvement from a 3, 8B rating previously held by the district. The improved ISO rating validates the work performed by the district, our community outreach, presence at meetings, from coffee tables to large venues, looking at structural firefighting capabilities, the infrastructure of our jurisdiction, apparatus procurement and deployment, training, fire prevention, emergency communications, and dispatch. Next is the new Fire District website. I mentioned it last month. The refreshed website launched in December of 2025, provides some easier navigation to the information and tools available to the public. In addition, the new website is fully compliant with all applicable ADA regulations and requirements. So new information, but same great address at www.cccfpd.org. Finally is the Zone 0 update. The next state regulatory committee meeting is scheduled for March of 2026, and I will place some additional homeowner resources into the chat. I realize that members of the public, homeowners, property owners, and others are always looking at insurance, and this has become more impactful as insurance companies have participated in non-renewals and cancellations. So some of the updates that I'll have in the chat and available to Ronnie for distribution will be the California Department of Insurance legislation updates. The legislation is currently on break, but will come back here shortly, including the Safer from Wildfires link. So what you can do as a property owner or resident to improve or decrease the fuels around your home, improve the opportunity and engagement with your insurance provider, and then United Policyholders. Now, United Policyholders does sound like an insurance company. They are not. I cannot, as a Confire employee, give recommendations for a person, a product, or a company. This is an insurance advocacy group. They have a RAP resource center, and I'll include that in the resources, and also buying tips from this insurance advocacy group. Really what to do when you're faced with a non-renewal or cancellation. So I hope these resources are found to be helpful. We are working with all of our mitigation projects to update everything, and more to come in the coming months. But as we launched this year, I really wanted the opportunity to say, hey, this is where we've been and this is where we're going. With that, I am open to questions.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Are there any questions for Michelle from the council?
Yeah. Michelle, the Windy Flats thing, were they doing work on that today?
Yes, I believe we have 2 crews over the next couple of months.
Okay.
But yes, they are intermittently, coming back, doing some work, coming and working with our partners. So scheduling, as you can imagine, with multiple partners on any given project is always a challenge. So yes, you will see them in the area, but we are continuing our work with again City of San Pablo, Core H3. These are two parcels right next to each other. So there was a phase 1 and phase 2. Part of phase 1 prevented us from accessing the geographical area or footprint of phase 2. So that work has been overlapping at some level.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any further questions for Michelle from the council? In that case, does anybody in the audience have questions for Michelle Reinhardt from Contra Costa Fire?
Anybody else? Please.
I'm curious about what other areas in El Sobrante are planning to have some kind of wildfire production?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. Ronnie, can you summarize that question?
What other areas of El Sobrante are there plans to do similar wildfire mitigation work?
Oh, okay. So the work in El Sobrante. Are you familiar with the Measure X funded wildfire mitigation program?
No.
Okay, so the mitigation program is funded through Measure X dollars, and we always accept new projects into that website. We do have existing work in El Sobrante. That work is ongoing. It is contingent of the available funding. So we are looking to have equitable access and equitable project placement throughout the county, since this is a county-funded program. So the work that you see in El Sobrante will need to equal other areas, given a multitude of factors evaluated by a badge member of service. So long story short, yes, there's work continuing in El Sobrante, and if you have a project, we look forward to hearing more about that. If you need help in accessing the program portal through the new website, please feel free to reach out to me. My cell phone number is 925-440-5831, and you can always send me an email. My email is MRINE.
Oh, but maybe she could just check in with Ronnie at the end of the meeting.
Oh, sure. I just wanted it on the record.
Oh,
But I was giving my personal information. The reason I do that, Chair, is to ensure that anyone without access to a computer, or that anyone that finds themselves needing assistance, that I, as the county coordinator, am here to support that. So again, email or phone.
I stand corrected. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions, please?
So Ronnie, she's doing some links on Zoom, but we can get to it from the meeting.
It's sent out every Friday. So the Friday after the meetings, it's a huge block full of content information. Right. Yeah.
Further questions from the audience for Michelle? Okay, so it looks like we're good. Thank you so much, as always, for your presentation, Michelle. We look forward to it every month.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I love seeing you all, and thank you for the great work that you're all doing.
Thank you. So our next item is a presentation and discussion around the disposition of the old high school property on Appian Way. And I'd just like to ask, are most of the people attending here here to ask questions or make statements regarding that property? Raise your hand if you've come to discuss this particular item.
Is it known as the Christian school?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like the bulk of our audience is interested in that particular issue. So I think what we'll do is we'll have Mr. Promani's presentation followed by a discussion afterwards. And what I was thinking is we could have sort of break the discussion into sort of two blocks. One of them being people in the audience who have questions regarding the presentation, and then perhaps people followed by that, people in the audience who have particular thoughts about how that property could be used in the future. Sound reasonable? Okay. So why don't we move on to the presentation by John Promani?
Yeah, and my name's Wyatt. I'm with Central Assembly Church. I'll be leading the presentation if that's okay.
Oh, okay, wonderful, thank you. Wyatt, I didn't get your last name. Pat, right.
And I have some handouts that people can pass around. So, and they'll be extra, but you guys could just pass one down. And y'all just pass those down as well. That would be great. Before we get started here. So as those are getting passed around, so my name is Wyatt Pack. I'm the ECRG Grant Team Manager for Central Assembly of Richmond, California. So it's a long name. We just typically go by Central Assembly Church. And we're on Appian and Argyle Road. That's where our church is. That's where the El Sobrante Christian Elementary and Junior High campus is. And so for this project that we're talking about today, it's the one by the El Sobrante Triangle, 5070 to 5098 Sobrante Avenue. And I wanted to do a few quick list a few names off who are here presently and who are also on the Zoom. As the speaker said, oh, sorry, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we can. They can. I should have given some to you again. Yeah.
Like we're gonna run out. We need to come in back here too.
Oh, you guys. Yeah, sorry. You can. There should still be some extra. So just a few quick introductions. So he listed John Promani. So John Promani is with Trace Communications. They're our communication specialists. So one of the sheets that you got with the fact sheet, his phone number and email are on there. If you guys have public feedback, you can give it to him or you can give it to myself as well. The presentation will have my contact information on there. And then in the back, we also have Sarah Larson with Trade Communications. And then for Trinity Source Group on the Zoom, we have Brady Nagel, who's the project manager. Trinity Source Group is our environmental consultant. We have a contaminated property, as some of you may know, due to a couple of former dry cleaners. I'll go into that a little bit later. On the Zoom is David Teeter, or the senior engineer for Trinity Source Group. Also on the Zoom is Jacob Henry. He's the project manager for the Water Board, and the Water Board is the regulatory agency. So we have to get permission from them to do certain things, of course, for our grant. And then here presently we have Jim Bergdahl from Seaclear. He's our brownfield revitalization specialist, and Seaclear, just in short, is the technical advisor for some of these state and EPA grants that we're applying for, so they help us with those things. So we have a large group of people here, and thank you so much for being here. And Ronnie, could I just tell you next slide? Is that okay?
That, or I can hand you the.
Okay, I'll just take that one. Okay, I know you have other stuff to do too. Let me go to this here. I think forward perfect. So just a quick overview. So we operated that site as El Sobrante Christian High School, which also served as our junior high as well from 96 to 2019. The school closed due to declining enrollment around June 2020. And it's a great site. It's primed for redevelopment. And so we're trying to figure out how to get it remediated. So basically, when we were in escrow with the buyer in the summer of 2020, a phase 1 and phase 2 was done, and they discovered a lot of contamination, a lot of compounds like tetrachlorine when they were doing those phase 1 and phase 2 investigations. And while there were phase 1 investigations done in the nineties, it looks, they just didn't have the technology to detect it. So that's why we weren't able to sell it. So we got the ECRG grant, which basically is a site-specific investigation grant just to figure out, okay, where's the contamination and how much is it gonna cost to clean up? And so that's what we've been doing for the last couple of years. And we'll be talking more about the next plan, but right now we're still kind of completing that phase of, okay, how much does it cost and what do we need to do about it? So it's considered a brownfield property because of the contamination. And so to get this grant, we basically had to say, okay, the primary reuse is going to be affordable housing. Now that area is zoned for mixed use. So we can put affordable housing and other stuff there, but we have to have affordable housing in order to be eligible for that grant. That's kind of where we're at right now. And then, as you guys know, the county did the 2045 general plan over the last probably 10 years or so. And they got a lot of feedback from a lot of different people in the community, especially at the Elk Lodge meetings, probably around 2019, 2020. And so there were a few things from those meetings that we got feedback on what the community wanted for the community. And so basically there were 3 different things. One was affordable housing. The second was a grocery store or a neighborhood market. And then the third was like an arts district. Those were the 3 ones. And so those are the potential reuses on the screen there. A lot of people, including Triangle Works, who is here, would like to see some nonprofit space and different things like that. And so we're just exploring those options. And then on the next slide here, we also have some reuse options. So we have, we just got, oh, go ahead.
You can share this later.
Yes, I think we'll probably have it on our website and we can also email Ronnie as well. So probably next Friday is when we'll probably do that. So we just got, we also got a $25,000 pro bono award a few months ago to figure out the best redevelopment uses for the property. And so we literally just got these yesterday. So we haven't really dived into it. But as you can see here, this is the first option that has affordable housing plus grocery store. One of the things with this option is we only have 1.9 acres on the property. So it's not too big. The one disadvantage with this is that we may not have enough parking spaces to make the minimum requirements for the county. But this is one of them. As far as that goes, we can do 50, I think it says 54 family units or 76 senior housing units plus a grocery store. So that's one option. And then another option is the affordable housing plus a retail location, which right now looks a little bit better because we can probably comply with the parking requirements with this one. So that's one option. So we have about 4,200 square feet for rental and about 90 multifamily units. And then the third option is just affordable housing only. So that you're looking at 103 multifamily units, including some townhomes. The townhomes are in orange there. So again, we just got these plans literally yesterday. We want to get more feedback from the community. And so, we're still at least another 4 years away from cleaning up the property if we get a cleanup grant. So this is very preliminary. like as of yesterday. So.
And the non-profit spaces might be where?
Yeah, good question. So so for this one, there could still be nonprofit space. It would probably be a little bit, probably like maybe on the first floor or something of the property. We haven't gotten into that much detail yet because we just, again, got these renderings yesterday. But we wanted to present them as just some options, and we can more go into the details of that probably later on. Yes.
Well, I was thinking we should probably save those for the questions and answers after the presentation. So in the future, folks can hold your questions and then you'll get to them when Wyatt is done with the presentation.
Yeah, and I can go back to these slides as well.
Sorry.
And then this is just the environmental status. As I said, the water board is the oversight agency with the funding from the ECRG. We received a $2.2 million grant a couple of years ago. I think we've used 1.3, 1.4 million of that. As far as that goes, dry cleaners we talked about, and then the investigation findings show that most of the contamination is on site near the location of the former dry cleaners. Some of the groundwater contamination has extended off-site. For the purposes of this grant, we cannot go off-site, it has to be on-site, just as an FYI. So some of the soil water vapor contamination extends off-site to the northwest a little bit. We do need, of course, to clean it up for the long-term protection of the health and environment. One of the things you got was the FAQs. There's no need to worry about the drinking water because EdBlood does, a series of tests daily, annually, monthly for that. So we explained that a couple of years ago when we had a meeting that there's no threat to your water. And then the cleanup. So on our website, it's on the fact sheet too. A couple weeks ago, we had a community updates page. And so if you like going into the data of the science that Trinity Source Group, our environmental consultant, has done, the draft ABCA is on the website. And the cleanup plan is excavating and treating the excavated soil. And it's called a zero valiant iron ZVI that would break down the contaminants in the groundwater, and it would prevent further migration as well. It's sustainable in the traditional dig and haul cleanups. It reduces the gas emissions and truck traffic, and also reduces the material going into landfills as well. And then this is the US EPA grants. They've been around since 1990. We can request up to $4 million for the cleanup grant. That is due in about 2 weeks. And so we're busy trying to finalize that so we can submit that to the EPA. So we're looking about 3.2 million. We listed some figures on there. We are applying for some other grants as well with the DTSC, but we are trying to get the cleanup grant because that would basically mitigate the issues with it. And then we should know in June 2026 for a decision whether we get funded or not. And if you guys have reviewed the APCA, we can definitely talk about it. Trinity Source Group is online as well. And then next steps is to, we'd love to get your feedback on the grant application. It is about 40 pages, so it's not a quick read, but you guys are welcome to let us know about that. We have to submit the grant application in 2 weeks. And then, if we do get the grant, there'll be a 30-day public comment period, and we will keep updating the community as we've been doing. And then contact information is there, and that's how you go to the project website.
So thank you so much for the presentation. So folks, if you want to help them by looking at the EPA application and reviewing it, it's available on the website.
Yes.
Okay, so you'd be able to go to the website and download it and look at it, and I think they'd find Wyatt and company would find your input cool.
Yes.
So I have a few questions. We'll start off with questions from the council, and then we'll go to questions from the audience. And then after we've had the questions from the audience, we'll just go into contributions from individual members of the audience about perhaps how they would like, to contribute to the future of this very valuable piece of property. So Mike.
Sorry, just to interrupt, but just before we get started, I did just want to let people know that for our project, we have an email sign up. I'm just going to pass that on while we're doing your comments.
That'll be great. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, sir.
So yeah, my question is just fast forwarding into the future. How is the church involved in terms of overseeing what the property becomes? So let's say everything is remediated. Who actually does the redevelopment? Do you sell the property? Does the church continue to own it? Or does the church, for example, accept a proposal to redevelop the property and then sell it? Or what's the overall scheme for how this will be managed and financed?
Yeah, it's a great question. So that's changed actually since our last meeting. Or when we talked about this our last meeting, we were like, well, we have a mortgage that we need to pay off, we can't sell it. But now we've looked at it a little bit more, and instead we would like to go in with a developer to keep the property. And obviously this is kind of a public. Right now, it's just kind of a public partnership. We'd like to get a public-private partnership with a developer as well, because we do see it as technically an asset, but we also would like to keep managing it to make sure that we can get feedback from the community, and we can make sure that it's something that's going to be beneficial to the community, as far as that goes. And so, so right now, things are a little bit on pause mode. Because right now we cannot rent out the inside of the buildings without some basic water and air testing, especially in the gym. So what we do is we divided up our lot into 3 buildings: building A, B, and C. Building A is the building that's closest to Sobrante Avenue. And right now that has a hornet nest kind of beehive, and it has maybe it looks like there's some asbestos. And so it is likely that we will have to demolish that building. Building B is next to where the gym used to be, and that's where the dry cleaner was. That definitely has to get demolished. And building C is actually the only building, which is the former gym and classrooms, that actually can be doesn't need to be demolished. Now, you guys probably have known that the last couple of years there's been a lot of vandalism, but since we got the grant, we were able to clean that up using the state funds. And there's and there was a lot of vandalism with the copper and people stealing the copper and stuff, and that's basically stopped actually. We were able to put up gates. Trinity Source Group did a great job with that. So we would probably be able to rent out, once we get the EPA decision figured out, if we do get the EPA grant, then it won't really become active until the fall. And so if we do get the EPA, then in the fall we can kind of make sure that with the water board and the EPA that we can rent it out if we do some testing, and can probably rent it out just for a temporary reuse for a little bit. And I know a few nonprofits have asked me about that. And I'm like, we need to wait. We can't move on it right now. If we don't get the EPA grant, that's not a good thing, but it does mean that we might be able to temporarily rent it out after we do some air tests.
Just a And then finally, another follow-up, and I'll see to my fellow council members. So you talked about, the drinking water isn't really an issue because that's piped in from somewhere else. But the groundwater plume that sort of goes out into surrounding property, is there any likelihood of, let's say, contamination through irrigation and things like that?
There is a possibility of it. It doesn't obviously, based off the slope and stuff, it doesn't affect the properties behind it. And then of course, the way it's sloped, it's going more into Sobrante Avenue and things like that. So it doesn't really pose like an immediate risk. And when we applied for the ECRG grant, we claimed innocent landowner use. And while and basically the DTSC, the Department of Toxic Substance Control, accepted that because we didn't know.
Yeah, sure.
And looking back, we kind of wish that the agency that did the digging digged a little bit closer to the dry cleaners as well. That could have been probably a little bit better done. But hindsight and everything like that. But we don't see any immediate threat, but it is something that isn't covered by the current grant. And it's something that probably won't be covered under the EPA. And I know Jacob with the water board has his hand up.
Okay, Jacob,
You can address that further, maybe.
you need to unmute or turn on your mic. Your mic isn't working. We don't hear you.
I'm not sure you can hear us. Jacob, nod your head if you can hear us. Okay, we cannot hear you, even when you're unmuted. So there's something on your end that's not functioning at the moment.
Maybe consider putting it in the chat.
Yeah, you can put in the chat, Jacob, and maybe Ronnie Mills from the county could relay it. I have an issue when I have headphones, sometimes it just disconnects. So, yeah, go ahead.
So meanwhile, so the drinking water is kind of okay,
Yeah.
groundwater is not so questionable. What about just hanging out there? I mean, what's the risk there? Are there some kind of emissions into the air, or that people are breathing, or that they shouldn't hang out there? Or how dangerous is it?
Yeah, we don't see it as, and Brady can maybe come on and answer this too, but we do allow on Sundays during the farmers market people to park there and stuff, and that's still fine. There's no risk to parking your car there, walking around. But it's inside the buildings where, the chemicals and stuff can rise up. And so that's why we're not allowing anybody in the buildings or anything like that, unless it's trading source group, a consultant, or us, or a contractor, subcontractor, things like that.
Okay, and Jacob has just said that the irrigation water would be supplied just like the drinking water.
Then David from Trading Source Group, did you have something to say, or?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, without getting too deep into this, I don't think that the downgradient issues of the chlorinated solvents are as big of an issue of as much as what is happening on site. I mean, we've done a very large amount of assessment about what's on site. I cannot say there's nothing, but it's not something that I personally would be saying, "Holy shit!" Sorry, my French, but it's that we need to worry about. Trinity and especially the Central Assembly has done a really great job of investigating the issue, and the issue is really more of what do we need to do to redevelop the site, and that's what I think we should be focusing on.
I just want, because, brought up as.
That's all. That's what I really have to say. I mean, I'm happy to answer anything else, as a sidebar. But it's something where this site has been exceedingly well characterized, at least on site. And we have a lot of experience with analyzing, downstream contamination, whether it's through sewers or through groundwater. And that, in my opinion, is not an issue here at this site. I'm happy to answer any questions about that, but that's just my opinion.
Thank you, sir. And we can move on to further questions from the council. Terry?
Yes, I want to make a comment about making it into a supermarket. You know, we have central foods now. And so that would be a real good conflict in my opinion. Because central foods is becoming an integral part of the community. That is feedback for your proposals.
Sure, no, I appreciate that. One thing I was thinking about, because we're a church and we're cash strapped, is maybe there's a store, Primetime Nutrition, next to the St. Paul Library. And so for the option 2, something that I was just talking about with Piatalk and Urban Core, who's doing the architectural drawings. And doing something like with Primetime Nutrition, I think it's part of the WIC program, and it serves families and women and stuff like that. But it also provides, maybe with the good table and stuff like that, maybe we could combine some local produce and stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, we really appreciate your guys' input. Yes, yeah, and I'm for that too. I mean, whether it's for the trades, anything like that, anything that can help the community out, that's another reason why we want to keep ownership of it as well.
So further questions from the council? Terry? Nikki, I'm sorry.
So looking at the 3 different plans, it looked like anywhere from around 50 units to about over 100 units.
Something like that, yeah.
How does that fit on there? How many stories are we talking about? It doesn't look like that big of a space to accommodate that many units.
Yeah, and I know I haven't had we did have kind of a quick meeting about it a couple of days ago when they did the drawings. I know the maximum building height is 50 feet. There is some options for density bonus and things like that where we could extend it. We are also in pretty constant communication with Contra Costa County Economic Development, where George and Allison have been helping us a lot. Actually, Allison co-led the presentation for us to win the Perfect Pitch Award to get us these drawings. So when we kind of look more into the details of that, we'll also see if we can extend that height as well. But it looks like 50 feet is a pretty good size as far as that goes.
How many stories is that?
That's a good question. I don't see that on here. Is it 4 to 5? Okay, 4 to 5 stories. Oh yeah. So, and there's also a weird, there's also a slope on the property, and so we are gonna probably have to work with the county to figure out, okay, where do we start and zero up and things like that.
Along those lines, accommodating for cars, because that's the biggest issue. People don't have places to put.
Yes.
You start building places like that, a lot of times there's not enough parking.
Right, and there is a requirement from the county for parking, so that's why we were liking option 2, because it requires a smaller footprint for the community retail, something like Primetime Nutrition. And we could also we can also play with the numbers a little bit to help to make sure that we comply with the parking requirement.
Can it be underground parking?
No, that's the whole thing, they can't.
After they excavate all the.
But yeah, so I don't have a lot of details on that, because again, we just got that this week, but that's something that we'll be exploring further, especially with the county.
So to move things along, do we have any final questions from the council?
I just have a question. Does anybody in here remember when that used to be a grocery store? How many people remember
Just
when that was a
historic
grocery store?
Was it the low raise,
It was Big T.
big T?
Yeah. Big T Market.
Randy knows that all this, he's, if you don't know, he's a lifelong resident of Sobrante. He grew up here, so he knows it all. It's a great repository of information about our community.
No, was there really 7 Oaks there? So it used to be
Yes.
a shopping center.
It was.
Right.
Yeah, I actually worked in there. One of my first jobs was installing car stereo next to the little breakfast restaurant that was in there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
So,
that was when the cleaners was running.
okay, hold on a second. We have any further questions for this council?
I probably missed it all, but what is the timeframe for the project? Parcel of land to be, I don't know, fully remediated, redeveloped, so how many years?
So for best case scenario, we get the EPA 3.2 mil. And so it starts September of this year, and then it takes 4 years to remediate, and that's the best case scenario.
So
If we have 4 years once we start the EPA to finish.
Okay, so that would be.
That's for remediation.
Remediation 2030. And then maybe sometime after that, the property would be. Whatever done with.
Maybe a couple of years, something like that.
And sort of to build on what Terry said about Central Market, I would say that in your presentation, I would not refer to this area as a food desert.
Okay.
I was in the real because, I mean, we've got, Central Market's right there, Rayleigh's is up Dam Road, Lucky and Food Maximum, also, that it's not a food desert.
Got it, okay,
It
thank
used to
you.
be, but it's not.
Got it, okay, thank you.
So are there further questions from the council? If not,
Well, got one more council on Zoom, so I wanna ask him. He's part of the council. Jed, do you have any questions on this? That'll be a no, okay.
I'm just trying to move the meeting. So are there any questions from the audience? Are these in specific are questions? Any questions please go ahead.
So in the situation, I guess scenario of like a retail space being there, like what would be the proposed screening process for what like still potentially would be there?
I mean, it could be a grocery store, it could be kind of like some kind of farmer's market or prime time nutrition, something like that could be there. It could be just for community office space. Those are the different kind of scenarios. It could be arts, because that was the number 3rd reason for reuse was like an arts district. So it could be any combination of those things. It's designated as a mixed use parcel. So yeah, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, okay. I just had like concerns of like like a Dollar Tree couple of things like that.
I don't see a Dollar Tree or anything like that. I don't see any chain stores going in there. So
Thank you for your question. Are there other questions, please?
Since the church is the 501c3, isn't there a conflict of being landlords?
no, I don't think so. I mean, I've heard of other churches, I mean, as far as affordable housing, definitely not. And then I don't think there's a conflict with having a grocery store or something like that. I don't see any conflict. There's no conflict in our bylaws. Our denomination is Assemblies of God. I don't see a conflict of interest with our denomination.
Do you get figures about like how the demographics are changing? Because it's planned this, 6 years ago or whatever. A lot of young people are moving into the neighborhood, and I'm just wondering I'm just wondering if the county or the MAC gets information so that you can make really smart decisions on what.
Sure, that's a good question. Just real quick, for the EPA application, that's on our website as well. You can look at the draft, and we do have US Census data on some of those demographics as well. So that does play a part in the reuse and things.
And then everybody has access to the Envision 2040 document, which is the overall, county plan for the future, which takes into account the sort of projected demographic changes.
Right.
Further questions, Chris?
Form of confirmation, you're not planning on reutilizing any of the structures that are there or any of the foundational work that's there?
The only one that might be is building C, which is the former gym. So next to where the dry cleaner was, and we may end up demolishing this if it depends. It just really depends on, a lot of things that we can't foresee right now, so.
Okay, want to go ahead, Serge?
So this is a question, but I kind of have an answer from an earlier conversation with you, but maybe you might refine it. So in your formula for affordable housing, maybe grocery, hopefully probably some nonprofit space. Last time we talked about this, you said things hadn't gotten to a level where there was a percentage that was going to be, locked in for nonprofit. Some of us obviously would like to hear, it's going to be X percent nonprofit, no matter what. Is that still the same?
Yeah, we
haven't got that far.
We haven't gotten that far. Gotcha. Yeah, we're still a little ways off on that.
Please go ahead.
Do you have a target number of units of housing units that you're trying to provide?
Yeah, I'm not great with understanding everything. It's 80% AMI, so area median income. So that's what we had. We had to meet that threshold for reuse once we get it cleaned up for the ECRG grant. So when we put affordable housing, we'll have to use that.
Sorry, my question was confusing. By number, I meant number of total units, not like affordability number.
So there isn't, there's nothing in the contract we signed with the ECRG to say how many total units we need to have. It does have to be the primary reuse for that area.
Okay, further questions from the audience for Wyatt? Go ahead, please.
Yeah.
Do you have like a ballpark sense of what the vapor testing would cost for building C?
I don't. We had one interested buyer, what was it, last year? And we're trying to do something maybe where, the temporary reuse for building C where the gym was. And I'm thinking, it's in the 5 figures, but I think it's in the low 5 figures in the ballpark. They weren't interested in it, so we kind of scrapped it. But yeah, my guess it would be over $10,000, but I don't really know too much. How much more? Maybe 10 to 20, something like that.
So everybody online seems to be associated with the project, but if there are any questions or contributions that our online audience wants to make, those would be welcome. Okay, if not, then further questions from the audience?
And then we're going to go to comment, right?
And then we'll go into comment, but I just want to make sure, Catherine.
I just have one question. How much emphasis is put onto the reuse decision in terms of how it aligns with the county's 245?
Yeah, the majority of it is. Thankfully, the affordable housing did line up as the number one goal of the county plan, so that it lined up perfectly. And then since it just got redesignated as mixed use earlier this decade, that really kind of aligns with all the Elk Lodge meetings. There was, I think, 3 or 4 Elk Lodge meetings in 2019 and 2020. And a lot of people wanted, local groceries. They wanted affordable housing. They wanted an arts district. Another thing in the county plan was they wanted a walkway where the triangle is. That's another one. I don't know if we'll have funding to do that or not, but maybe we can talk about the developer with that later. But yeah, so far everything is really aligned with what the people in the county want. And then if we are gonna, keep ownership of it, it's, we want, and, we're on record as stating here and other MAC meetings too, that we want to align it with the goals. So I think it's a near perfect match, so.
Thank you, Kathy. If there are no further questions, then I think we can go to the comments part of the discussion. And George has a helpful timer, so we're going to limit it to 2 minutes for comment. And at the end of 2 minutes, the alarm will go off. The MAC has other items that it needs to cover tonight, so we want to keep the discussion complete but concise to the greatest extent possible. So you can start off, raise your hand if you have. We'll start with you.
I'll keep it really short because we're just looking for a venue for a single event, which we build a place at the table, which is an elegant sit-down dinner. I'm Christina Redsky, I'm a Richmond resident, but I'm working with your El Sobrante neighbor, Darcy Crosman, and hopefully Terry, who I just met. But for this event, so it's based on the biblical, we've called it a place at the table inspired by the biblical passage, the great banquet, where a wealthy man has a fancy dinner and he compels everyone to come in off the highways and from the hedges to sit down to the cellar as honored guests. So we would extend an invitation to our unhoused neighbors to sit down with our house neighbors to an elegant sit-down evening, live music by local musicians, make it beautiful, make it lovely. The day of the dinner, we would have a mobile shower organized with some of our local service providers, manicures, shaves, haircuts, so everyone can show up feeling wonderful, looking their best. And just the idea is just sit down together, share an enjoyable evening, build some bridges. So we really just need a venue for a one-off. Someone had suggested that the parking lot would be great for the preparations. We could decorate the gymnasium. If it's even usable, we're looking at the late spring, early summer. If not, perhaps other neighboring churches or other venues may be interested. But I already gave the council just a one-page description. Anybody in the audience who might be interested, in helping us find a place to host this would be awesome. So that's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay, comments. Serge, do you have your index?
Yeah. So I'll try really hard to not go much after it. Well, so I'm here on behalf of Triangle Works, the 501c3 that's operating right at the Triangle, at the building known as the Shed, and at the former Adachi Nursery. We are looking to guide a stewardship of the Triangle area into the mixed-use area vision initiated largely by Maurice Abraham and Canoli Oliari, and that's now supported by the county plan. We've got, most of us here are from Triangle Works, but we've got brochures for people interested in how to work with us. For 3 years, we've had a relationship with Central that led to the 350-foot mural that's there. We've supported their plea with the state when state funding was not sustaining, and we were somewhat successful with that. And this winter, our role and presence in the community really increased with the openings of the Good Table and Planning Justice. And this is coinciding with increased collaboration with Central as they apply for EPA Brownfield funding this month. So we've been watching the school site language for about 5 years. We're part of being part of the establishment of Good Table and Planning Justice as an upcoming transformative site for the El Sobrante Triangle.
30 seconds.
So we're the largest local community entity in close proximity to the site. And we have a lot of stake in this. We've been helping Central with their EPA application, straighten out some loose ends, including their citation of a development district. Thanks for doing that. It's now a multi-use area. And we look forward to continuing to collaborate with them as the fluid situation evolves. And there is some uncertainty in what's going to happen, and we appreciate the opportunity to partner with them in filling the gaps that may arise with all the moving pieces
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
So, further 2-minute comments? Please raise your hands. You were first.
Yeah. My name is O Saiton. I'm a local Elsewhere resident. Actually went to Elsewhere Christian junior high, so 7th and 8th grade. So it's a valuable space. Would love to know more about it, come to these meetings, hear more about the development, and want to see it be a community space where people can come, maybe work from. Maybe I have 4 kids, so it'd be great to have some type of mixed use where community can have access to it, maybe events like that, nonprofits, triangle works. So thank you. I just want to learn more about it, and it's kind of such a blessing to me because I want to explore. Okay, thank you.
Oh, it seems like you have all the contact info to follow up.
Yeah.
And they seem welcome community participation, so it looks like
in the right
spot. Kind of next in the right spot.
Real quick, my wife, Daisy Batak, taught at ESCS. You didn't have her as a teacher, did you? Mrs. Batak.
No, because you would have remembered that thing because it's full on you.
Yeah, probably not.
So
somewhere it's awesome.
So who has somebody else had their hand up? Was it? Oh, you did, I think, right?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I support like the whole incorporating like an arts district into the area. I'm a student at Contra Costa College, and I think a lot of the students there, as well as just younger people in the area, we really do have the desire to have a space to learn and to I guess unleash our creative side. And I think in the area that we're in right now, it's really hard to do that affordably. So I'm saying this not just as a member of Fireworks, but as a resident of the area.
Thank you for your comment. Are there further comments? Please.
Just very quickly, I'm a local architect, and when you say Mike Piatok is the architect, he's the best in the world. I would, whatever he comes up with,
okay,
it's the best we can come up with.
Piatok is one of the firms, but yeah, I don't. But Piatok is one of the firms in urban core.
Yeah, no, it's very good news.
Yeah, thank you.
Are there further comments?
I have one. So I'm David Teeter from Trinity Source Group, which has been a consultant to Central Assembly for the DTSC ECRG grants. And to be very blunt, we are not tied into the awarding of the EBA grant. It is not decided that we will be part of that. I just want to say that from my opinion of working with hundreds of these projects, Central Assembly has done an outstanding job. They are doing the right thing, and I support them. It's something where, once again, it doesn't matter if we get awarded the grant to do the cleanup or someone else does. This is a great project. They've done a great job. I'm fully behind this, no matter who wins this. And, if I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone has about this, but this is a good thing, and Wyatt and Central Assembly has done a fantastic job of trying to find funding that they would normally not have to rehabilitate, remediate this site and make it move forward to be something great for El Sobrante. That's all. Thank you.
Mr. Teeter, and perhaps put your email in the chat so that way people in the audience who look at the meeting synopsis can potentially contact you with questions that they might have for you.
Actually, I would prefer if everything goes through Wyatt, if that's okay.
This is Jim Permani. I'm the community outreach consultant. I'll put my information in the chat, and people are welcome to call or email me with any questions.
Yeah. And I will respond to anything sent to Wyatt or to John.
So if we have no further comments,
Just out of curiosity, I just want the council to see how many of us are kind of affiliated with the Triangle Works effort on this. So, yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess I'm kind of trying to work about more speaking just as I've grown up in El Salvador or this is not anything new compared to what everyone else is saying, but I do just want to kind of appreciate that you guys probably don't need to be seeking community input on all this, and it is, I think like that is the reason why those residents do support, what you're doing here, are excited about your enthusiasm to seek community input, and I hope that continues to be like, it sounds like, you had these lodge meetings early on. It'd be great to see it more. It seems like that's on your radar, but to continue to have these opportunities as local residents and then shape what happens. Yeah, and also I have another thing that I can't remember.
You're young to have. So, if there are no further comments, we do have other agenda items to move through. So this is kind of the last chance. Raise your hand if you have a comment. If not, I just want to thank everybody who was involved with the presentation. It's extremely informative. I think that this, whatever happens to this property is going to be a real critical part of El Sobrante's future, one way or the other. And I just want to echo what you said, that we didn't really need to come here at this point, but we really appreciate your being here, especially bringing your team. So give us this update. So thank you very much.
Thank you to the client, the rest of the group, and of course the audience for the questions you raised, comments you brought up, were helpful, appreciated. And
so it looks like our next item is under the heading of approval of development plan application variance reports. This is section 5, building modification request appeal, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the current application is county file numbers CDL P2502046, which is the renewal of the license for the land use permit for the Artistry Cannabis dispensary. And having reviewed that application, they don't seem to be asking for any alterations in the operating plan or in the building itself. And so the question at hand is, what is our council's take on the renewal of their operating application? From my point of view, I'd like to move that council has no objections to them continuing to operate.
just one, was anybody from the artistry here? Okay, just checking those. I'm,
And do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All right. Anybody opposed? Well, so just all four? Okay. So I'll get in contact with I'll email the engineer in charge. But that was quick. All right. So now we have public comment. And Jason, I know that you're here and you probably want to talk about the history of the cell tower.
A little bit just about what I've discovered in the files that I've gotten about my location at 435 Valley View, and then also 448 Valley View.
Okay, so just a quick question. We were unable to get anybody from DCD here. So my question, the reason why we wanted to have somebody from DCD here is they could actually go and refer to specific paperwork in their files in relation to their, in relation to your presentation and issues at the site. you're here, you prepare. I think, you should be able to go ahead and give a short talk, but it probably would, I'm just wondering if you'd be willing to perhaps wait till maybe next month when we can have the DCD person to present what you thought. However, what is your thought about that?
Well, I mean, I'd like to have a full presentation. I think it would take more time than the council, and I think everybody here wants tonight. We had a long night, right? So I could say a short bit if you wanted and answer any questions I have. But...
So, do you think you could give us maybe a summary, just a quick summary tonight? And just let me finish. Do you think that we could perhaps put Jason on the agenda with a DCD person for next month?
I can definitely reach out. I unfortunately can't guarantee that we'll have it, but I can definitely.
Jason's been here. I remember him, and I remember your comments then. Does it change, Jason? Is it going to be different than that?
Well, so I did find another location that's back in the same situation as me, where we have across the street at 448, we have a residence that's in between the antennas and then the rooftop. So the rooftop, according to their EMF reports in the county file, the rooftop is above the limit for regular people and occupational exposure. And if the rooftop is here, the penthouse, they call it, is here, and then the antennas are here. And so there's somebody's residence in between the areas. So one can assume, and I can show all this in a presentation, straight line, that it goes through. And so it's going to be above the limit. And I just think that when these are put through, the MAC probably doesn't have all this information. They don't see these reports that are being filed during the land use permit. And then all the upgrades that come with the building permits. When they upgrade the equipment, they're supposed to do a new study every time. And, those kind of highlight some of the things where they haven't done those studies. So I just kind of wanted to put all of that together, something that everybody could have a little handout and see.
But it seems like probably the best approach would be to have you give a presentation and to have a DCD person, also be.
Yes, I can't guarantee that DCD will be here, but
here's what I'm thinking.
Next month.
If you could perhaps in the next few days reach out to DCD and try and nail them down for the February meeting. That way we can put Jason on the agenda with sufficient time to present his case in detail, because he's done a lot of work finding what realistic levels of exposure might be for residents in the area.
Yeah, what is the Department of Conservation and Development?
Yeah, again, I would definitely follow up. I just don't want to guarantee that.
No, don't guarantee it, but please in the next few days follow up. And then if you do get an agreement, then we can be sure to get Jason on the agenda.
I think Jason should be on the agenda regardless if you can get DCD or not, Ronnie. But I think maybe the way to present is DCD, hey, don't you want to present your side to the people here? Because Jason will be here?
It's what we asked. I know Jason's problem. There's no doubt. I don't know where we come in to make a recommendation. I'm not an expert on all the stuff he's going to present. He's much more attuned to all this than we are.
Yes,
and he's and so ECD is the other side of the equation. But I don't know, when Jason makes his presentation, what is our goal from the presentation? Randy, go ahead.
So we talked last month,
and
your goal, what you were telling me, was to just bring them back into compliance, right? Mm-hmm. So I think you were going to get me some information. That didn't come. My email posted there on the county website. But I think, Jim, to your question, his goal is to bring it back into compliance. What the presentation is going to do, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But the goal is to bring these the EMF numbers and bring it back into compliance with where it needs to be.
Well, we can certainly make the because we're an advisory board. So we can certainly make the statement that it needs to be investigated, and if it's out of sync, it needs to be brought in sync. And we wouldn't say that now. I don't need him to give me another presentation to say that. I don't know if they're out of sync or not out of sync. I'm gonna hear what Jason has to say. And if it's DCD or whoever it is that's on the other side of the equation, then we can certainly make that comment to Joya's office that this needs to be reviewed and DCD needs to be involved, and they need to be involved to determine, is it out of sync and does it need to be brought to sync?
And then we make the recommendation and bring it back in.
My thought, I mean, when Jason spoke at the last meeting,
Right.
it was in open agenda like
Right.
now. And he didn't have the benefit of a PowerPoint presentation where everything would be sort of, at least from my mind, I need to have it kind of graphed and displayed.
You like all that, that's your personality. So what I'm saying is, if whether Jason's right or wrong isn't the issue. We're not here to do
I know.
that. So I could easily say to you, Jason, now, I make the recommendation, Joya's office right to running right now, that it needs to be investigated further. And it needs to be determined, is it out of sync? And if so, it needs to be corrected.
So
it's easy enough for me to say that.
Period.
Jim.
Yeah, period. I don't need a PowerPoint presentation to get there.
So from my point of view, I would probably be writing the letter to John Joy's office asking for this to be looked into. And to basically make that communication, I kind of want to see this laid out so that I understand it. Because I don't can't necessarily get my mind around it if it's just a verbal, maybe you can, but I can.
I can't. No, I'm not getting my mind around it. I don't know.
Right.
What I'm saying is that, but I don't need a PowerPoint to try to convince me.
Right, but what I'm saying is that I can understand the situation better. I'm no expert on the effect of EMF on human health, but it's just a question of being able to describe the problem in a cogent document and ask for a specific action. And I think it would be nice, since Jason's done a lot of work, to be able to have an actual agenda item with the presentation.
And to add to that, may I please? I've asked Jason to be here and I've asked him to keep coming back until we get some sort of clarification from whatever company he's talking about, because the general public doesn't know the information that Jason is giving us. And we need to know that. And so I feel like the more information we can garner, the more we can put pressure on the right entities and stuff like that. I mean, it's one of those things that gets the buck pass. It doesn't get public attention. They get away with stuff that they shouldn't be getting away with, and they're not being held accountable. So I want them to be held accountable, and I think Jason is the key to that.
So I can make the statement now, and you can take my vote whenever it happens, that I would say to Joy's office now, it needs to be investigated and needs to be determined if part is out of sync. If it's out of sync, it needs to be corrected. It's simple. You're right. I don't need much more information. Jason, I'm on your side, pal. Then, it doesn't need my attention anymore. If you guys want to have a PowerPoint, just let me know which meeting that is, and I won't be there because I don't need that. You can just take my vote now and say, we do it.
We wanted to be at the meeting. I'm in line with only because I wasn't at last month's meeting. So you're bringing us on. So I'm not quite caught up on this. So and I'm a visual learner, so I like to see it. I'm not just saying how my pie doesn't be fancy. I just need to see something. I can look at it.
So I think it's worth having an agenda item attached to this, and I think it's not just for us, the whole set of us, but for the community members who might want to attend. Would be educational, and when we write a letter, we're not going to be assessing the human health effect of EMS. What we're just saying is, look, this is out of compliance. I know, there's evidence for this now, but that would make it all that much.
Can I make a statement?
Yeah.
I really appreciate your support, sir. And I understand what you're saying exactly. You're in support of making sure everything's fine. One thing that the presentation might help for future meetings, though, is I also kind of show some of the ways that they're kind of double speaking around the true information. And so that might help in future land use permits when you folks have to approve or deny it, or a future building permit or something like that. You might see the same patterns of lying by omission that they're doing on the reports that they're giving. So you might then see that and then still be able to utilize that user.
So if I wanted to take your comment, sort of pull a shroud of politeness over it, and say, you know, it's not just a question of information, it's a question of process. And that, you know, what you're presenting might lay bare some issues of process that could be addressed in the future for not just this sort of structure, but others as well.
Yeah, I believe permits and sites all over Contra Costa County, possibly more. I haven't investigated much more.
So it'll be on, excuse me, it'll be on the agenda for February.
So whether or not we can get DCD on there, we want Jason be on our February agenda to give a presentation. And I think as George pointed out, you could frame it to DCD. He said, gee, you know, there's somebody here from our community who's found, you know, multiple issues and with the permitting of these towers. And wouldn't you like to be there to, you know, to basically join the discussion? Thank you so much, and thank you for your patience on this.
And I'll get you the telecoms info directly. I sent it over, but I'll get it directly to you.
Yeah, because there is a legal limit, right?
Yeah.
And so basically we want to make sure, is there an entity that, any research that you found that monitors the legal limits?
That's what we were discussing the other day. We were discussing exactly finding out who is the oversight committee within the state, within the county, within the US, who's supposed to be the one holding to this. And I'm still doing research on that.
Okay, so we don't have that information yet.
So we're good then?
Yes, thank you, appreciate it.
All right, are there any other, please,
What's happening on
what's happening on what?
the street,
What's that?
like the whole situation? Because you-
We're figuring out how to get rid of cell phones.
Yeah.
Problems. More public comment?
What do you mean by on this?
It's just.
Are there any other public comments? So these are items related to our community, but
Yes,
that weren't on the agenda for the meeting.
yes. Me. Since June of 2024, I've been a member of the Contra Costa County Civil Grand Jury. It's not trial jury, it's not criminal stuff. It's oversight of agencies, public agencies, hospitals and the like that do business in Contra Costa County. And I just want to let folks know that the enrollment period for the 2026-2027 term is out there. In other words, it starts in this June. It's a volunteer commitment. You might spend 20 to 30 hours a week doing the work. I find it really interesting because I meet a lot of interesting, accomplished people of my fellow jurors. You know, one of my fellow current jurors, he just retired after being a practicing attorney for 50 years. And just learning about the inner workings of county government and city governments and getting to meet people in these roles of the government, I find really interesting. And what we do over the course of the years, we try to develop reports, and then we come up with those reports. Last term, we had 8 reports on various different topics across the country. The one that was closest to this area of the county was the concerns about staffing in the Richmond Police Department, which is affecting us because we're Councilmember Bonham, who represents the Richmond area, and she always refers to us as we're all one 94803 and sphere of influence and things of that nature. And it's a really interesting, it's an intense process to get on this jury, but it's worth it. If you have the time, I would strongly consider it. I just wish that for these, when we have these meetings and there are items on the agenda, I wish everybody would stay here for the whole meeting and folks not leave when their particular item of interest is done. But that's a whole other issue. But anyhow, grand jury, I recommend it. That's all.
Are there any further public comments? All right. So information items. I have one. So we had a presentation last Thursday on osteoporosis at the Good Table. So the Good Table is a great community venue, and we're starting to make use of that. And one of the things I did as part of the Advisory Council on Aging is developing a presentation on osteoporosis. And my sort of career has been doing research in osteoporosis, and since I sort of semi-retired, I thought this would be a nice way of disseminating some basic knowledge that I came through osmosis for clinicians for many years. So so that's where this participation on a county body actually translated to something concrete here in Sobrante. In one of the facilities that I think we reviewed, the Good Table, when they were permitted, so all these threads sort of come together. So that's my information item. Are there any other information items before going to some committee report? So Terry?
Sort of, Ronnie, the stuff that I mentioned about the grand jury, can you put that in the MAC report? There is a link to it, and maybe encourage the supervisor to put that information in his next email blast to the constituents?
Whenever that round does come available, we normally put out a bunch of information.
Okay,
So.
it's the application timeframe is open now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure John will have us do that.
Okay, thank you, John.
So there's only one subcommittee, and so can we have a subcommittee report?
Okay. Cleanup and beautification subcommittee. Here's our postcards. If anybody wants to join us for our third Saturday cleanups, which is an important community activity that we always invite volunteers to join us to help keep our neighborhoods clean and beautiful with picking up litter. We do it every third Saturday. This Saturday is our next one. And on the back of this postcard, which is a reminder, there's a little resource guide on how to get rid of your things if you need to get recycled or get rid of mattresses, or what to do if you see an illegal dump and things like that. So basically, you're trying to keep a handle on this, but we're also going to be setting up a meeting. Hopefully, this month's already getting away from us, so hopefully next month we'll have an actual in-person committee meeting where we can talk about next steps on what we can do, and some of the ideas that we're talking about is signage to put around our neighborhoods where we find trouble spots to remind people to not litter. But we'd like to make it kind of artsy, maybe get some of the shed people involved in this, and to help us design some pretty signs we could set up around town and things like that. And so I'm looking, I think Mondays, I don't know, like Ronnie, on Mondays good for you? Like if we can get a space here?
It depends. First Mondays, we have the El Sobrante Chamber of Commerce meeting.
Okay.
So just let me know when, because I'm on a few other missions as well.
Yeah, okay. We'll have that information soon and get that to you. So anyway, you're all invited to help us do this. And we're going to start planning soon for an Earth Day event too here at the library. It's probably going to be on our regular third Saturday day in April. Earth Day is April 22nd, but we're thinking that to keep it consistent, because people are getting aware and thinking in terms of joining our cleanups, that we'll keep it on the third Saturday, probably April 18th. And we'll have some information tables, hopefully in the shed and Triangle Works. We'll have a table there to let people know what's going on and what they do. Because it is a community building kind of event that we like to do. We do this in collaboration with spawners that cleans up the creeks around here, or keep an eye on it. And also with SOS Richmond, because they take part and help us collect the garbage that we collect. And they also take that opportunity to hand out more trash bags to the encampments in the area so that they could keep a handle on that as well. Because we want them to be good neighbors so that they are, not a problem. And we can coexist in a way until we actually get people housing that we really need. And we also have, Chris has designed a website, which is also on this postcard, Keep El Sobrante Beautiful.info that has more resources and links as well. Did you have something?
Yeah, what happened, what do we do with the litter when it's all cleaned up?
Here, on these days?
Yeah.
Okay, so the library has some space in their bin, depending on what we've got. So if they're manageable bags of trash, we could bring it in and use that on that day, on those Saturdays. If they're big items, if we find some like mattress or some furniture or other big dumps on the street, we'll make a pile there, right there. And then we'll report it to County Public Works, who will come and pick it up.
Okay, the only reason I ask is
Yeah.
because now, here in our area, on our garbage bill, we pay a little more money. And Republic Services goes around and picks up the dump sites that are on the streets. And they've been doing a very good job of that. So I just want to say, maybe if we coordinate that, if you want to coordinate that with them where it's at, it can save county funding. It's stuff that we're already paying to pick up litter in our own community. So it would save county funding, and it would save the library space. It would, you know what I mean? If we could coordinate that with Republic Services, we already pay for them to clean up. So I just want to make sure that we're not extending extra resources and spending more money where it doesn't need to be spent. That's all.
Yeah. Well, this is already paid for, and if they have space, I think we're welcome to use the bin space here. It usually hasn't gone beyond that, to tell you the truth, but occasionally we do have some extra big items that are on the street. And then we'll make a pile there and then report it. I don't know, because they come out, the piles end up wherever somebody decides they want to dump something, so that's the problem there. But I'm glad that we now have a contract apparently with Republic Services. I think John Joya said that. And
they're doing it.
Are they doing it?
Yeah.
You're noticing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we just had one on our street. And we had to use the mobile citizen app that we really highly recommend people put on your phones if you see something. But the more we report, the faster they'll deal with it and get rid of it. So it's really important that we do that. So
Castro Ranch and Alhambra Valley.
Yeah.
For a lot of that, right? So
right.
I've seen them out Castro Ranch picking stuff up on Mondays, which their normal garbage route there is on Tuesdays. So I've seen them on Mondays out there with the food truck picking
Oh,
stuff
good.
up.
And San Pablo Dam Road, often, heading towards Orinda, they often get some dumps there. If we see it, we have to report it. Otherwise, we can't wait for them to come by. I'm not sure how often they come through there. I know at least once a month, but it'd be nice if it's more than that. And, because it does accumulate, and then there's other problems that arise from that. So,
I have a question. If you see somebody dumping big stuff, what shall we do?
You just said the mobile app.
Yeah, but if you actually see them, get their driver's license.
Yeah,
that's one thing, report it, and if you see, we just tell them not to do it.
It's on the top on the back. Here, got all the you need.
Yeah, and also we can report it to the sheriff department too. if you find abandoned vehicles and things like that.
Maybe write down the plate number.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, that's good. I think we're gonna, there's going to be a region-wide illegal dumping conference that is open to the public as well in Oakland on April 30th and May 1st. That's being sponsored or hosted by Alameda County Supervisor Nate Miley. And I think Barbara Lee was there, Congresswoman Barbara Lee was there for the last one. And it was really good, and we're trying to find some, region-wide ways of dealing with it. Last night we saw on the news, which was very sad, that there was this guy, Alan Long, in Oakland, who was adopted, and he just goes out on his own and picks up lots and lots of litter and makes piles. And he was recently robbed of his camera while he was doing it, so he's stepping back right now. So now that it's starting to accumulate them, so we need to respect the people and all the volunteers. It's really a fun activity. If you've never done it, surprisingly kind of fun and meditative, and also immediate gratification, unlike a lot of these things we work on for years and years and inching towards it. But when you pick up litter, it's like immediate gratification because it's dirty and now it's clean. And it'll get dirty again, but still, it's constant. But we are making a difference, and I think people are noticing in El Sobrante that we are making a difference, and it's fun, and it's a good way to get to know people in your neighbors in the area, and it's really a good community event.
Really quick, do you know on San Pablo Dam on your way to Orinda, I don't know if it's technically actually in Orinda, but they're building that fence on the reservoir side of the road. Is the purpose of that to prevent people from dumping?
Yeah, it got really bad. It was constant there, and then it was inching. People were throwing and dumping things over the fences there. It was getting closer and closer to the reservoir, so that's a hazard as well. If it gets, it took a lot of effort and lots of trucks to take the stuff out. So that's why they eliminated that, unfortunately, because it was a nice lookout point for people. But they decided that, it was a regular dumping spot, unfortunately. And, we think some of it is the haulers that are unlicensed, that are saving on their dump fees, that are just picking it up from, collecting the money from their jobs and then finding a place to throw things out of the way that they think people aren't going to notice, but it's a serious problem. So there's different issues that if you're interested in coming to that region-wide meeting, they're talking about different ways that they can do, maybe for example, getting a license plate that shows that they're a registered licensed hauler, that you can hire them, and so we want to direct business towards that. And there's also, people have a right as residents here to call up Republic Services and have 15 bags of their trash collected at one time, and a single bulky item. Also, if you have like a refrigerator, if you have a big piece of furniture you want to get rid of, you have a right to have it collected, and now they've extended, I believe, that to the apartment complexes as well. So that's a good thing.
So just one thought. I mean, you could ask what to do if you see somebody dumping. Somebody, let's say, who collects money and then dumps the garbage instead of bringing it to the dump is not likely to be a very nice person. So don't ever get involved, with, confront one of the people doing this, because it might not be safe. Just if you can surreptitiously take a picture of their license plate, go ahead and do it, but just don't put yourself at personal risk.
They say that if they don't catch you in the act, if the sheriff doesn't really catch you in the act, it's kind of still hard to prosecute people, but we can keep doing that and keep trying, you know, to get closer to our goals and to inform and prosecute.
So any questions for Nikki?
No,
Chris?
not to have a question, but I did mention about the Valley MAC, Alameda Council member, supervisor, excuse me, about having a statewide law that is tougher and allows them to get people without having to see them in the act.
Yeah.
Based on some other factors that I won't go into. And I still am encouraging that we could to be asking Supervisor Joya to support that and to find out more about it, and you know, and adopt it, try to get it adopted on the county level as well as encouraging the statewide one. And this another thing I think Renee is a good idea there about letting the public know when we're doing our cleanups so that they know that there's three piles. Do they coordinate? This is the question. Do they coordinate with the public citizen? You know, we call it public works. Do they coordinate with Republic about who's picking up trash, piles, where? And then so the other one is pick up those piles. They usually leave a lot of litter around, so we still have to come out later on.
And that's the county picking them up.
Yeah.
They leave a lot of litter. No, yeah, Republic services. And the one
Yeah, see, and what we're doing is we're having the county pay to go dump it, and we're already paying on our bill to pick up the state garbage that we're paying again to go dump. That's all.
That's no big deal. Let it know when we're
So, Chris, I think what I'll do is, I like your suggestion about getting Contra Costa County to pass a similar ordinance. So I'll reach out to you and I'll write a letter as chair of the MAC saying that this is some community input that we got.
Okay. And also there's going to be that next counts, Alameda County. It's a regional meeting that's happening, and I'm sure Nikki will go, so we'll have some representation there.
Yeah.
And the one last thing I want to say is that in a sense, when we talk about Coastal Cleanup Day and Earth Day, when we were originally doing it, we were like kind of with the spirit end of the thing. But at this point, there's a lot of other things going on. And what we found is that like last time we had a third Saturday cleanup, and then was Coastal Cleanup was the next week or something like that. And more people showed up for the third Saturday than people up. And so we're not sure if they went to other places or what, but we're thinking in the future we might just go to the third Saturday and show support to other groups that are developing their program now on the Earth Day. And that's not a decision of the group, but it's something we're talking about.
All right. So I think we've had a nice meeting. And
Got someone, Michelle?
all right, we'll have the
And Michelle has her hand up.
Thank you so much. Board Member Norris, you mentioned the utilizing the 15 bags with your Republic service. I would just like to take this opportunity to remind people that using those 15 bags is really important this year because of the amount of rain that we've received. So using those 15 bags to create defensible space. Again, that defensible space is the buffers you would create between a building on your property and grass, trees, and shrubs that surround it. So the space is needed to slow or stop the spread of wildfire, and it helps protect your home from catching fire, either from embers, direct flame contact, or radiant heat. So utilizing those 15 bags, getting rid of that extra vegetation now will help protect you as during a more active fire season.
Thank you for the comment, Michelle. So I think we can move to our next agenda item, which is speakers for upcoming SPAC meetings. Jason, we'll put you on the agenda for next month.
When was the, Ronnie, or anybody, when was the last time East Bay Moon was here?
I was in the earlier part of last year.
Maybe it's time for them to come back, see if they've done any updates on what they're going to do with water treatment plan and surrounding.
Yeah, I've been in communication with Ianad. And they don't have anything just yet, but I can follow back to see if they're pretty good on reaching out whenever they do. Do you have an update?
Well, they might also, I mean, maybe they might give us a little more in depth about the third party vendor they're engaging in for the insurance for the water line. So.
Okay. Another thought would be maybe a presentation from County Health on respiratory respiratory diseases, we've got flu, COVID,
Pneumonia.
RSV, pneumonia. So we can see if we can have an update on that.
So we have.
No, I have nothing for that, but I forgot to mention that in case you are interested in joining us, we do have equipment. So you just need to show up and you can borrow the equipment as well.
Please.
At the last meeting, I talked about Pebble Drive and my concern about safety, and you made a recommendation that I prepare a presentation. I've done, so I'd love to present the presentation at the next meeting if possible.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds great.
Absolutely.
So I'm all for that. Ronnie, do you think, I didn't get your name. Cynthia. We could see if we can get Cynthia on the agenda for the next meeting. So this is great. I mean, we'll have 2 presentations by community members.
And it'll be a PowerPoint.
I mean, I don't specifically like PowerPoint. I retired to get away from that. But sometimes it's nice to have information graphically.
So I remember that, we talked last month, did you get with all the neighbors so that it would cover all of Pebble Drive, so
I
like
remember
we talked
what you
about
said.
that? Okay.
All is kind of what all means, but.
Like we talked about Pebble Drive, where you're gonna need, where you're looking to put speed bumps in. And so we're not going out there and doing a set of speed bumps, and then 2 months later, oh, well, they got some by their house, so now we want some, half a block down on Pebble Drive, so now we want some, so now the county has to go through this all again, right? So everybody, you would talk, put together.
I research as safe as possible, and I call it my 5-point plan for drives.
Okay. Mickey has one.
Just quick announcement, if anybody's interested in coming to the Chamber of Commerce installation dinner, that's on the 24th of this month. It's fun. I mean, it's a good community event. And also they have where they announce or award the citizen of the year and the organization. Okay. So it's a nice community event, but you have to sign up on their website by the 19th.
And one last agenda item for next month, the year review for the MAC for 2025, what we did and who came and all that good stuff. The annual report.
Did we file an annual report?
We did, yeah.
Okay.
So we
I'm trying to remember when I commented on that.
It was early December.
Normally we look at it like at the first meeting the following year, or in this case it'll be the second, so.
I don't
know if this falls under here, but there's a group of parents that are concerned about Cheese Park and the bathroom situation.
That's more of a city.
Yeah.
We have heard of that.
Yeah.
It's been brought here before.
Yeah.
But it's not like a lot of spending something. Figure it out.
Okay. So in that case, I think we can adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else want to postcard?
Thank you.